I went on national TV in Australia to talk about Super Smash Brothers. Let me walk you through how I went.
Mike, podcast producer, expert subject, video game Super Smash Brothers.
Hey guys, it's Mike. Before we get into the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all the other stuff. Watch some of my other videos and make sure you watch to the end as well. I do a pop culture channel here on YouTube, so I'd love for you to check out some of my other stuff. Okay, back to my TV appearance. Okay, so you can see in the background on my TV, I've paused it on a still frame of me on the show, but I went on an Australian TV show called Hard Quiz, which is more of a comedy quiz show here in Australia on the ABC. It's one of the highest rating shows in the country, and it's hosted by Tom Gleeson, who is a very popular and funny Australian comedian, and his whole shtick is sort of like making fun of the contestants in a way that's really lovable and really, really funny. And so I auditioned for the show a few years ago, not really expecting anything of it, and 2 years later they actually rang me and said, hey, we want to get you on the show. So then I was filming it, and in this show, everyone elects a special topic, like an expert topic. And my expert topic was Super Smash Brothers, the series of fighting games from Nintendo. And it was really cool because obviously I'm a big fan of the series. I've talked a little bit about it over the years on my channel if you've been here for a while. And I play it, I follow the online scene, I'm really into it. So it was cool to kind of bring it to a national audience here in Australia and try and prove my knowledge of the game. And you play against 3 other people, and the expert subjects can literally be anything. So obviously mine was Smash Bros. Another guy on my episode had LeBron James. So it covers a whole different variety of topics. And it definitely is less about the quiz aspect and more about Tom Gleeson's comedy. And he spends the first 10 to 15 minutes of the show just talking to all of the guests and kind of making fun of them. So he asked about my special topic, and I got to talk a little bit about Super Smash Brothers and why I love it.
Can you explain Super Smash Brothers, your expert subject?
Super Smash Brothers is a crossover fighting game developed by Nintendo that features like Nintendo All-Star characters, and you fight, and yeah, it's on. There's been, well, I'm not going to say much more because I don't want to give away secrets.
Okay.
I was definitely really nervous throughout this whole thing, and I definitely stumbled. The way the scoring system works is if you get one of your questions right, you get 5 points. If you get one wrong, you lose 5 points, but you can also steal from other people's expert rounds. And if you steal from someone correctly, you actually get 10 points. You get 5 questions, and every round someone gets eliminated who's on the lowest amount of points. If you make it to the final round with just 2 people, they ask you harder questions, 5 harder questions about your topic. So the first round is 5 sort of easy general questions about your topic, and if you make it to the end, you get the hard questions. Spoiler alert, I didn't make it to the end. Sadly, I was the first one eliminated after the multiple choice round, which is just general knowledge, but I actually did pretty well on the Smash Bros trivia, which I'll get to very shortly. I actually asked the producers if I didn't make it to the final round, could I know the questions? And they said no, because sometimes they get people back to do another episode in like a duds episode, the people who came out first, and they would reuse the questions, so they couldn't tell them to me, which is a shame because I really wanted to know what they had lined up, but maybe one day I'll go back on the show. I don't know. Okay, so let's get into my question.
Time now for Mike and the Super Smash Brothers.
Of course, most of these are pretty easy questions, and you'll find, and what I realize is the way these questions are written is so that even if you didn't really know anything about the topic, you could kind of have an educated guess. So they're pretty easy. I think most people who play Smash Bros will definitely know at least 4 of these. There was one that definitely stumped me and I didn't know, so I'm curious to see what people think. So here was my first question.
Super Smash Brothers was first released in 1999 for the Nintendo 64, with the art on the cartridge depicting Mario and which Pokemon? Mike.
Pikachu.
Correct.
This one was really easy. Of course, I have the original Smash Bros cartridge somewhere on my bookshelf and I look at it all the time. And of course, it was Pikachu. Got that one right and had a bit of banter around it as well.
How old were you, Mike, when you first got your grubby hands on one of these?
I actually didn't have it as a kid. My friend got it for me for my 16th birthday, which was like 10 years after it came out.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Just played it a lot at friends' houses.
Oh, did you grow up poor?
Question number 2.
Mario's friend Yoshi, a small green dinosaur, can swallow his opponents and turn them into what object, Mike?
Egg.
Correct.
This one, again, I thought was really easy. I mean, anyone who's played the game at least a little bit would know the answer to this question. And Yoshi lays eggs. Like, it's pretty obvious. We didn't linger on it much. And again, that's what I mean with, like, the basic knowledge. Like, I genuinely wonder what the hard questions would be. Question 3.
In Super Smash Bros. Brawl, third-party characters entered the franchise, including Sonic the Hedgehog, owned by which former Nintendo rival? Mike.
Sega?
Correct.
I was definitely expecting a question around Sonic and Snake's inclusion in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. But again, this one was pretty easy. Like, you actually don't have to know anything about Super Smash Bros. You just need to know that Sonic was from Sega, which I think most people do know. So I got that one right as well. I also got to talk about my excitement about Sonic the Hedgehog being in Brawl, because I remember that being such an exciting time. And I actually make a reference to something else that happened in the episode with the guy who was talking about LeBron James.
Was it a big deal putting one of their competitors in the game?
That was one of the biggest days of my life when I was a kid. When I saw that Sonic was coming to Smash Bros, like, wow. Nothing really has topped that. It's like LeBron James with the winning the cup. That's my winning the cup.
Sounds like you lived a very sheltered life.
Yeah.
That was as good as it got.
Yeah.
Question number 4 is the one that completely threw me off. And a lot of people actually texted me saying, oh, that question was so, like, adjacent to the topic. Like, it's really hard. Here it was.
Known as the King of Smash for his dominance in the esports scene, professional gamer Ken Huang was a contestant on which CBS reality show? Mike.
Jeopardy?
Incorrect. It's wide open.
And here's the thing, like, I studied so hard. I wanted to make sure I knew everything about the game. And of course I know who Ken is. I've seen the Smash Brothers documentary. I follow the competitive scene. I know who this guy is. And I definitely in the back of my brain remember seeing somewhere that he was on Survivor at some point, but it just didn't come to me. And then I just stumbled and went with Jeopardy, which 1, isn't a reality show. It's a game show. And 2, we don't even have it in Australia. I don't know why I went Jeopardy, but then I lost points there, and then the LeBron James guy actually stole the answer from me.
Oh, for the Steelers games.
Survivor?
Correct. Was that a guess, or did it just come to you?
Wild guess.
And it's all in good fun. Like, I was really disappointed I didn't get all 5 of my questions, and I'm wondering, is that common knowledge in, like, Smash Bros community? I'm interested to see, like, you know, if many people knew that he was on Survivor. But anyway, it is what it is. I lost points. The other guy got double points. And yeah, final question was pretty easy.
Last question in your set, Mike. Super Smash Bros. Melee, released in 2001, is the highest-selling game for which console, Mike?
Nintendo GameCube.
Correct!
Again, I was super happy with how this all came out. There was also a lot of editing, so like they cut out a bunch of the preamble chat that I had as well. But overall, I was super happy, and I was really glad to bring Smash Bros. To, I guess, the national stage here in Australia, and that's why I'm making this video about it as well, because I thought it was a cool thing that other Smash Bros. Fans might be interested in. As far as like the very expert questions at the end, I really do wonder what they might have been. Part of me thinks one of them could very well have been about, in Melee, Princess Daisy, if you turn her trophy around and zoom in, she has a third eye on the back of her head. I feel like that's a piece of trivia that could definitely get in there. The other thing I think they could have asked was, what was the game originally called before it was Super Smash Bros., which was Dragon King, the fighting game, like the original sort of version of the game that Sakurai created. Questions like that, like they get more outside of the range of what you could like feasibly guess and something that you really have to know about the topic. But anyway, that's kind of my appearance on the show. Oh, one thing that happens is when you get eliminated, which I got eliminated after round 2, the multiple choice, you have to go up to Tom Gleeson, the host, and he asks you what happened. He always goes, "What happened?" And I guess some people try to think of a witty line. I tried to think of a witty line, and I got a good response from the studio audience, so here's what I said.
All right, at the end of my round, Mike, you're at the bottom on 5. Get over here. Mike, what happened?
I got smashed, bro.
I got Smash Bro. And then you have to do the walk of shame. And that's hard quiz. If you're not from Australia and you haven't seen it, try and track it down somewhere wherever you are, because it's such a fun show. And there actually have been a few episodes in the past that are Nintendo themed. I think there's been someone who had Nintendo as a topic, Zelda as a topic, Animal Crossing I've seen, maybe even Super Mario, and then I've done Super Smash Bros. But lots of gaming, lots of movies, TV, and other pop culture. And overall, I just had the best time ever, and I really want to go on for Battle of the Duds and try to win next time, because that'd be awesome. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. My name's Mike. I do pop culture content, gaming, movies, TV, music, all of the nerdy stuff that you were into, I talk about on this channel. Hit the subscribe button, comment on this video, and thumbs up. Check out some of my other videos. I'd love for you to stick around the channel and support me on Patreon, patreon.com/Radio Mike. Plus, I'd also love for you to check out my podcast, 20th Century Boy. It goes out on this feed as a video, but it's also on Spotify or wherever you podcast. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in another video.